So now Bonk of Poland, 93.32, so he's down at the light end of the scale.
His last lift didn't look very dynamic. It looked slow and heavy. See if he can get some speed into this now. Oh, that's better. Needs to hold on to it though. Oh no. Well, this 170 seems to be causing a lot of people an awful lot of problems.
That's his second go at 170?
Yep. Yeah. So, 2 failures.
So Hernandez on 170.
Yes, he missed the 169. But it was technical rather than strength. So,
nonetheless, some of these B group guys are taking a few scalps. They're going to take a few scalps here. I know your eyes lit up when you saw the 391 and thinking, well, this is some decent total.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, that's
good.
nicely.
Yeah, well corrected. Good to see that. Had a failure, went up, wasn't phased by it at all. Had his plan of 170, decided to stick to it, regardless of the failure on 169.
Still a couple of kilos short of his personal best in the clean and jerk. 220, something like that. He's in that sort of area. So that would give him 390 if he went that well, and that would put him right on the mark that he was hoping for. So Vakachuk now.
So let's hope he's sorted out his thumb tape. All new bars here, very, very sharp. No, he's obviously...
Is that the tape or is that in his mind? I think that's in his mind.
Well, what you can do in a world championship, because all the weights, all the bars and everything are brand new, they're very, very sharp. And if you're used to training on an older bar, when you come to this championship and you warm up on the new one, you can often tear calluses off. And it's very off-putting if you've just torn a lump of skin off and you've got to grip the bar. Not so bad on the clean and jerk. I mean, I don't think it'll be affected at all in the clean and jerk, but on the snatch it can affect you.
That leaves him on 167. He's got one. Is that right? 167.
167.
Yeah. So Dobrev under the cosh. 2 failures at 170. This, the third and last attempt, and. Well, this would be not catastrophic, David, but it would be a huge surprise.
It already is. It already is.
Yeah.
he's 17 kilos down on his best, even if he gets it.
And
which he hasn't.
Oh dear, oh dear. This has been a World Championships in which, David, to be honest, the disappointments have been a little too many. There are reasons. The conditions certainly have played a part, but at the moment, we were talking about it late last night, weren't we, about the wow category. If you think back to those women's competitions in Doha last year, I mean, there's some fantastic lifting there.
Yes, it's not happened so far. So this man also needing 170.
This is Bonk of Poland to keep his championship chance alive. Well, I hope Soziev is watching this. I'm sure he is. I haven't spotted him.
That's better.
But Bonk ultimately won the gold medal with 179 at the Europeans this year. So, if you put it into context, he's way down. 9 kilos off. And this is, frankly, the discipline where he has to make a little progress. Now, it's been a while since we've seen this man, already been out with the once.
Well, they're getting quite long waits in between attempts here because everybody's lifting very much the same.
Used to lift for Russia. Is that 172 on the bar, I think?
172, yeah. Already succeeded on 167.
So 5 kilo increase. Competed this year in the Europeans. Finished in 12th place. And contributed 168 kilos in the snatch. So that's pretty good progress. Representing Georgia these days, as you can see, and 172 kilos. Well, it's the best so far in this particular group of athletes, but still 177 rules the roost from that B group. Still Szymon Kolecki of Poland to start his challenge. Also Mikołaj Patowski from Belarus. And Ilya Ilin has got a couple.
Well, this is Kolecki, and he's come down a kilo on what he had posted. He was posted at 174. He's got 173 on there. So come down for whatever reason. Perhaps he's seen a lot of failures and decided to get one in, because he has got the highest starter down in the clean and jerk. So I suppose it would make sense to come down.
Well, this is the young man who has been plagued with back problems. He's travelled across Europe trying to find physicians and surgeons to help him out. Well, there's no doubt, David, that all of them have realised that being a little conservative may well pay at the end of the day. The other factor, of course, is that the guys in the B group, David, when they're lifting earlier in the day, obviously they're striving to do their best, but they don't have quite the same pressure. There's not the same focus. Their cameras aren't on them. Crowd isn't as big. You know, they're lifting in a completely different environment to these guys.
Oh, they are, and also you could look at that as an advantage or disadvantage. It's an advantage in as much as they don't have as much pressure on them. But it's a disadvantage because they don't have the knowledge of what the people in the A group are lifting, so they don't really know
how hard to push.
I mean, for example, they don't know whether 177 is going to be a record, or whether they need, or is going to win a gold medal, or whether they need to take 178. They don't have that knowledge. Whereas if you're lifting in the A final, it's all there. It's all there in front of you. So. Yeah, it depends on I suppose it depends on the temperament of the lifter. If you're somebody who doesn't work well under pressure, then I guess the B group is a good choice. But personally, I think I'd rather be in the A group.
I agree with you. It's just a pity, really, in a way, that we can't find some system of qualification so that essentially we arrived in a final with, say, the top 8 men, and they were definitely the 8 who could go for the medal, and therefore what you see is what you get, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's always very disappointing, not to say embarrassing, I think, for the governing body of the sport if somebody from a B group who you never see ends up getting a medal, and there's a real possibility of that happening this evening. This is Kolecki for a second time at 173.
That's better.
So Kolecki, being championed by David Morgan, now moves 3 kilos ahead of Ilya Ilin of Kazakhstan, being championed by myself. But of course, he's had one more attempt than my man from Kazakhstan. Two opposite ends of the scale. You've got Kolecki, the comeback man, and Ilyin, the rising star. And Navarro.
And Ilyin, he's only 18 years of age.
Absolutely, and Navarro now Was that 165 he had as the first one? No, it couldn't have been. 170, sure.
Navarro. No, he did 165, then 170. This is his last attempt now.
173. This will be a new personal best if he can do it. Sadly, he's left on 170, which equals his previous best, achieved in last year's World Championships in Qatar. Well, this is all unfolding pretty rapidly at the moment. Ilya Ilin, well, last year as an 85 kilo lifter, snatched 170 kilos. In the Junior Worlds this year, 176. He's actually got a PB of 180, but that's not a verified competition score. So Patotsky. And all of these Belarus lifters seem to profit in this first phase. Very effective in the snatch now, Patotsky. Well, shouldn't really say that, should I? I mean, that's very disappointing. I was talking about how Bartolomew Bąk of Poland was moved up to the gold medal position in the snatch last year. Sorry, this year in the European Championships, and Patotsky similarly moving up to the silver medal and actually achieved 177 kilos in the snatch. So Ilya Ilin taking a 5 kilo increase. I think this is pretty intelligent working, David. This is a progress by steps. Not going for a personal best.
His strength is in the clean and jerk. We know that. So if he's there or thereabouts in the snatch, he knows he's dangerous. He knows he's got a chance of winning. And he is there and thereabouts in the snatch.
So he's now within 2 kilos of the lead, and the man who led at the halfway stage, Konstantinov, just to put the perspective on this, clean and jerk of 2:15, whereas Ilya Ilin, well, at the Worlds last year as an 85 kilo lifter, he did 2:16. As a 94 kilo lifter in the Junior Worlds, 2:25. And again, we know 2:25, 2:26 is his sort of territory. So, as you say, if he's within a couple of kilos, he can go past certainly the B group men. Now Bratin, 5 kilo increase as well. Ilya Ilin is lighter than Bratin by 0.6 of a kilo, so this would keep him behind the Kazakh lifter. And there are still two men. 177 Konstantinov, 176 Sozayev, and Sozayev and Konstantinov both clean and jerk 2:15. So that's the key figure to keep in mind.
That was a press out as well.
Yeah.
Really not looking impressive at all. In fact, nobody is really, with the exception of your man. I mean, he's looked the best so far, and the snatch is his weak point.
Well, I believe on backing athletes who are on a rising curve of form. But that said, David, I mean, I suppose there is an obvious question, given we're deep into the championships, just a day to go, and I suppose the obvious question is, the effectiveness of the World Anti-Doping Agency's program. It seems to be biting. We can only be pleased about that because we want to see everybody competing on a level playing field. But you just wonder, and you sometimes worry as well, David, that, you know, maybe the lab is getting ahead of the athletes, but will some bright spark come up with something we've yet to hear about to put those who want to cheat back in the driving seat? Hopefully not, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So Bratin finishes on 170. And we're running out of lifts fast. Kolechki's got one, Ilya Ilin's got one, Kuzilov has got one, Pototsky's got one, and no one has got past the B group.
So actually at the moment the B group are...
Yeah, men we've not seen.
Gold and silver.
Or men that you've not seen anyway.
Gold and silver.
Yeah.
No.
And not only that, David, you know, that's 3 failures. So no total. So no total for Dobrev, the Olympic champion. No total for Pototsky. We started with 10, we've got 8. This is quite a nightmare. It's also quite an embarrassment for the governing body of the sport to have this sort of performance. I mean, you look at this and you'd say, well, you know, to be fair to them, they've gone on the assessment of previous performances. That's why these guys are in the final, which is also, you know, my point about finding some method of qualification so that, you know, people are in the final on what they've done.
Well, the interesting thing as well is that Ilin now, because he's lifting in the A final, he knows
what he has to do.
He has to do 178. That's all he has to do. I mean, I know when he walked off, he went 5 to his coach, but if his coach is check, I mean, is his coach checking the B group? If he is, so he's left on 173. If he is checking the B group, the next weight should be 178 to take the gold medal.
Yeah.
So 2 men from the B group are certainly in the gold and silver, or it could be silver and bronze, just depending now on what Ilya Ilin decides to take for his final attempt.
And am I not wrong that Kuzilov has got one
yes,
lift?
he has. Yes.
Got one lift.
One lift left. Yes.
And here it is.
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it? Because he actually started at 167. So he was one of the lighter starters, but he's using his attempts very well.
Yeah, former Russian lifter, now representing Georgia.
He's actually going to 177 now. Is he heavier or lighter?
Let's have a look. 93.71. He's actually, I'm just looking at this, Konstantinov was 93.77, so
this would actually put him into the lead.
It would.
So his coach has looked at the B results and has made the intelligent choice.
Well, this is a way big personal best. This would be 7 kilos better than he's produced in competition before. I really hope he gets a... So that leaves him on 172. So this is absolutely extraordinary, because what you've got is a situation here at the moment where you've got Konstantinov on 177, Soziev on 176, then you've got Ilya Ilin on 175, and Kolechki doesn't even get a medal. So Ilya Ilin 177, 178.
Well, it should be 177. Well, 177. Yeah. So this is actually, yes, of course, because he's lighter as well.
Yeah, 93.26. It could be 177.
So 177. So yep, they're watching. So this is actually for the gold medal by virtue of lighter body weight.
You're absolutely right. This is not a moment for heroism. It's just get the job done.
Well, I would have thought that he would have expected to be behind at this stage.
I tell you what, he is
behind at this stage. Bronze medal. So So two guys from the B group are gold and silver.
Yeah. And sadly, we can't bring you pictures of their performances. But this is embarrassing. So I always find it embarrassing, David, you know, because it's a bit like watching the 100 meters and the two men with the fastest time were in the semis.
That's right. Yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it? I still think that the overall winner is going to come from this group, though.
Well, Ilin, if you're looking at Kolechki, because that's the man you backed, and they're both better in the clean and jerk. Now, you've got a situation here where Kolechki, well, at his very best, he'd pick up 235 kilos, but he's not capable of that, surely. What's he posted?
220.
220.
I think he'd be struggling to do that. I think that's his...
Yeah, if you look at where he is now, 220 would give him 390. Well, you know, 220 would give him 393, and he posted an entry total of 395. Ilin had 175, so he needs
225.
225,
which he's done.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break.